how can I get my ex back? Finding the answer. Breaking up is always the worst thing that can happen to a relationship, especially if the breakup was sudden and is one-sided. A breakup that is mutually decided upon is much easier to deal with as compared to when one is dumped. It's a lot harder to deal with rejection rather than have to deal with the idea of moving on. Most of the time, the dumped person in the relationship will feel that the relationship has ended too soon, and the question, how can I get X back, haunts them. Although moving on is always the better option after a breakup, some people will always prefer to save whatever there is left of the past relationship and may ask themselves, how can I get X back? This is not as hard as it actually sounds. First of all, before you go out and get your ex back, there are a couple of things that you need to consider. Ask yourself why the relationship ended, what caused it, and consider your ex's feelings as well. Breakups are usually caused by an argument blown out of proportion, caused by little things, irreconcilable differences, or a third party. If you broke up because of an argument that was blown out of proportion and you feel that the relationship still has a chance, then by all means save it. However, if your relationship ended because of too many differences between you and your partner, or perhaps by another person coming into the equation, then regardless of how you feel, you should definitely move on. So how can I get X back? Not everyone is the same and techniques don't exactly work well for everyone. However, there are a few ways that you can do to try so you can address the question, how can I get X back? It would be a lot easier to get your ex back if you know for a fact that they still have feelings for you. Otherwise, it's a lost cause. When trying to get your ex back, one thing that you should never do is make them know that you want them back. Reverse psychology works best in this kinds of situations, but make sure not to overdo it, otherwise you may lose them in the process. Show your ex that you are willing to change for the better. This is always a good idea, because changing for the better will always entice them to come back to you. Remind them of all the good times you've had together and slowly let them know that you want to try again and get back together. If after doing this and you are still with the question, how can I get X back, then perhaps it's time to move on.